Hey, aloha everyone. Michelle Melendez with Blossom Inner Wellness and StandTogetherHawaii.com. And in this interview, I'm going to be sharing a contract, a $900,000 contract with a pathology lab with a very bad reputation that was hired by the Maui Police Department 1 month before the Lahaina fires. I was going to be interviewing Grayson Ibarra, who owns Gray Tech LLC, which is a forensic post-mortem operations company, but he's wasn't able to join me. So I do have some answers to some questions I sent him. So I'm going to be sharing that with you as well. So let's get started because this is going to blow your guys' mind. If you have any doubts about what happened in Lahaina, uh, light is shining so brightly on the truth, including in North Carolina, with the death count being absolutely a falsehood in the media and so many people sharing. So I just want to say, keep sharing. You, anybody who knows the truth and speaking the truth, keep sharing it because it's like trying to hold water in your hands. It keeps coming out, and that's what's happening right now. So I'm super excited to share this information with you. And if it wasn't for Grayson going to the media about the Maui Police Department owing him $270,000, I would never have found this information. I didn't find it actually. A friend of mine, and you know who you are. Mahalo so much for always sending me some amazing information. Request for sole source. Sole source means that this is the only company in the state that provides this service, but this is not true. So this is I don't believe this is true anyway from what I have found. So if somebody else finds something else saying that, yeah, this is the only company in the whole entire state that provides this service, and that's why they were awarded a $900,000 award contract for providing death determination and postmortem autopsies starting July 1st, 2023, ending 6/30/2024. However, it ended, and I'll show you the end date, which was in October of 2023. Pan-Pacific pathologists, and let me just read this to you. We are required to make a complete investigation of the cause of death as the result of violence or as a result of an accident or by suicide or suddenly when in apparent health or when unattended by a physician or in prison or in a suspicious or unusual manner within 24 hours or within 24 hours after admission to hospital or institution. So that's the sole source contract for them. And the following other possible sources for the good service or construction were investigated, but do not meet our needs because City and County of Honolulu Medical Examiner's Office, who I called, I'll tell you what they said, office is unable to assist with providing autopsies. Actually, that's not true. So this is the Department Honolulu, the medical examiners, and request an autopsy report. That's what they do. And I actually called them. I called them and asked them, do you guys provide autopsies? They said, yes. Do you guys do postmortem? And I said, had the Maui Police Department contacted you, would you to help with Lahaina, would you have been able to go? And the person who I was talking to asked me if I was part of the media. She also was very reluctant. She said that she couldn't answer that question. And then when I asked her again later on in our conversation, she said that possibly if they had requested them to come to Lahaina to help with the autopsies and the death discovery, they could have possibly helped. So she was not willing to say yes. She said that the Honolulu Department of the Medical Examiner is for Honolulu County. And again, I asked her again, like 2 or 3 times, if Maui Police Department had asked you, would you have gone? And she said possibly, because she didn't want to go on record for saying yes. So the Maui Police Department, they hired, I'm just going to go here again, the Pan Pacific Pathologist LLC, $900,000 1 month before. I could not find a contract prior to this for $900,000 for any pathology company. That doesn't mean it's not archived somewhere, but this is the Yelp reviews. This Pan Pacific Pathologist, 1.7 Yelp reviews. So they don't have a really good reputation. Clinical Labs of Hawaii. I don't know if these do autopsies or not. I should have done a little bit more research on that. But that is the Pan Pacific Pathologist Company. This also what ended. So this $900,000 contract, it was supposed to go from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. However, it ended 10/4/2023. And I had certified that the information provided above is the best of my knowledge, true and correct, that goods and services or construction are available through only one source, this source, and this is John Pelletier. So he signed this stating that this company, Pan Pacific Company, was the only one that Pan Pacific Pathologist was the only one that provide death determination and post-mortem autopsies. However, again, the Honolulu Department Medical Examiner also provides this, but they said down here that the City of County of Honolulu Medical Examiner's Office is unable to assist with providing autopsies, and no other providers of this service in the state. It's really interesting because they're unable to assist with providing autopsies, but yet the Honolulu Department Medical Examiners literally says they do provide autopsies. So this company, Pan Pacific Pathologist, $900,000 contract 1 month before the Lahaina fire. They also got another contract for, again, July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. Same exact amount, $900,000 to provide death, determined, and post-mortem autopsies. So this company, again, got this contract, sole contracting, saying that they're the only people that provide this. However, Grayson or Graytech LLC is a forensic post-mortem operations company. And this guy has been working these are the questions I sent to him, to Grayson, and this is what he answered. How long have you been in business? He's been in business 12 years, 3 months, and 30 days as of October 15th, 2024. His business hours are open 24/7, including holidays, totaling 4,522 days without closing. Wow. So this guy, what is his scope of service? This is as I said, what work do you do for the Maui Police Department? And he says, C 740 body transport specifications. The County of Maui is seeking individuals or firms capable of transporting the bodies of deceased individuals to places within the Maui County, capable of performing post-mortems, within the Maui County, capable of performing post-mortems at the direction of the Maui Police Department. So his job was to the pickup and transportation from locations on island of Maui to Lanai to the approved facility, which would provide autopsies or forensic medical treatment facilities. So that was his job, number one. Number two, pickup shall occur within 60 minutes of notification by the Maui Police Department. Number three, this contract is for the island of Maui and Lanai only. The contractor shall submit a completed fee schedule, Exhibit A, with the proposal included in the cost of each zone and biohazard waste cleanup. And autopsies of descendants shall be performed as soon as possible, but not more than 24 hours following request to prevent loss of critical evidence. Exceptions may be made during the weekend. Okay, as such, timely body transportation must be available 24 hours. Okay, the sensitivity of the families and the deceased will always be considered. This man is very kind. He has got a very kind heart, but he does say that he can perform autopsies. Autopsies of descendants shall be performed as soon as possible, but not more than 24 hours following request to prevent loss of critical evidence. So I'm not able to. I was supposed to interview him, and our interview fell through. I'm hoping it'll come back again with this man, but this man has Graytech LLC. So my question is, autopsies, that means that the Pan Pacific pathologist, which is $900,000, they've been awarded, is not the only, under my understanding, and if I'm incorrect, that's okay, somebody can tell me, but they're not the only company that does post-mortem and determination of death. So should they have received this sole source contract? I don't think so, because it seems like Graytech can also perform this, as well as the Department of Medical Examiner of Honolulu. And so yeah, so let's keep going. These are the questions I had asked for Grayson, and these are his answers. When did you start working for the Maui Police Department? The first transport case service for the Maui Police Department was in 2012. So July 7th, 2012. When did they contact you to help with Lahaina victims? And that was the first day recoveries began. And Great Tech In is coordinating with the Maui Memorial Medical Center to conduct x-rays on all remains as they come from Lahaina into Wailuku. And Grayson, the owner, is also the liaison with the mortuaries and reports at least 5 vans are ready for response. And do you have a contract? He said yes, because he's got a contract. And again, Maui Police Department was not paying him. I don't know if they've paid him since, but not paying him $270,000. So we have one pathology company that's $900,000, and they owe him $270,000. Body transport contract C7470, Amendment 3, public record, had an expiration date of 6/30/2024. Did you have an escalation clause? Escalation, I believe, is if they need to add more services for that. So that would be that. Antitrust claims, the county and the contractor recognize that the actual economic practice overcharges. Okay, we don't need to go into that. Did you sign an NDA? He said, no, nothing in addition to my current contract that includes 27, confidentiality of material and confidentiality of personal information. Totally understandable when you're picking up human remains. Very understandable. When did you first go into Lahaina was my question to Grayson, and his response was the next day. Our town utterly destroyed and our officers in a state of emotional distress and fatigued, covered in ash and soot from head to toe from moving bodies. So they were already moving bodies before he came in. Who was working with you? The first day, 7 of us were deployed, 2 of which were funeral home workers. Acting captain said they had trainees picking up human remains. That was my question. His response was, there was no reason for us not to handle the recovery of transport. It is our contract. It is in our contract scope of service. Because I asked him, why didn't they allow you, the expert, to do that, to pick up the human remains? The acting captain literally stated in an interview that he was having trainees pick up the human remains. And I'm going to show you the report that shows how they handled these human remains, which is not good. So actually, let's just go there. Here's the report, and I'm going to go to this one here, but I'm going to come back to that. On August 9th, 2023, the first fatality from Lahaina wildfire was confirmed. The elements of the Maui Police Department included the Criminal Investigation Division, community police officers, the Crime Reduction Unit. There's a reason why I'm sharing all this, because I want to show you guys one thing. The Special Response Team, the Vice Division, the Juvenile Crime Prevention Division, HANA Patrol, and the Plans and Training Section responded to Lahaina to assist with the initial search efforts for survivors and human remains. So they have 2 contracts, one with the Pan Pacific pathologists and another one with Grayson Tech, but yet none of them, they're not in this report. So none of these pathology companies are in this report. So beginning saying that when they first found the first victim, you know, they're not talking about the pathologists coming in to take care of their human remains. They're talking about all these other divisions of the Maui County Police Department. Beginning the morning of August 9th and extending until darkness, concerted efforts to recover victims was made, resulting in the location and recovery of 40 sets of human remains. And that means they took these bodies and they had to put them into bags, many of them. During the recovery, operations were located, secured, and transported to a centralized location. And these groups conducted coordinated foot searches of the entirety of the burn zone, looking for human remains with basic tracking and marking of searched areas. So the reason why I'm saying this is because, again, there's nothing in here. There's nothing in here about the Pan Pacific Pathology of this company that they gave an award of almost $1 million to is not in this report. Why is that? Why didn't they say the Pan-Pacific Pathologies helped, with the recovery of the human remains? It's not in here at all anywhere. So I don't understand this report doesn't include that. The initial search efforts were targeted at locating any survivors needing rescue. None were found. None were found, and recovery of any obvious human remains to try to prevent the remains from being disturbed and damaged. So none were found, yet we're only supposed to believe 102 bodies were deaths, but yet they would try to locate survivors, and none were found in Lahaina in a very, very fast fire. It's very sad. So task force search and rescue dogs working in the burn zone to locate human remains. There's another one that I want to show you guys, and that is the what's in the, and I'm sorry to say this, but body bags. Okay. Early on, it was discovered that some body bags contained commingled remains, as the condition of the remains made it difficult to differentiate them in the field. In other cases, one individual may have been recovered in more than one body bag. And my apologies for, I don't want to sound disrespectful to these deceased. Another aspect that influenced the estimated numbers was multiple recoveries took place at the same location, with groups of individuals passing in proximity to each other. Some recoveries were not initially recorded as a secondary search, and it took anthropology and DNA results to match and reunite the remains. They were also individuals who were flown to Oahu with fire-related injuries, and learning their outcomes took time. So this is interesting because they say there were also individuals who were flown to Oahu with fire-related injuries, and learning their outcomes took time, but yet earlier they said they didn't find any survivors. So I don't understand. I don't understand that. That seems like contradictory. After all the autopsies and organized secondary searches were completed, an inventory of the unique remains was performed. The estimated number was then updated to 97 descendants, but again, the number was subject to change. Since the number was reported, another set of remains was found in Lahaina, and 2 more individuals were known to have died on Oahu, totaling 3 Oahu fire-related deaths. It was not unexpected that there would be fluctuation in the case count. As of December 2023, there were 100 deceased reported. This number is still subject to change. Okay, and I wanted to also go to this one fragmented word, because this says here, the addition of experienced field anthropologists played a vital and crucial role in identifying, documenting, and recovering heat damage and fragmented skeletal remains during these second. Okay, that's not the one. I apologize. It is. Okay, there were also anthropologists stationed at the disaster morgue 7 days a week. It still doesn't say anything about, here it is, a subset of fragmented bone remains could not be linked to only one person and were commingled with multiple non-related individuals and were labeled as group remains. Those remains are housed at the morgue until further arrangements have been determined. So there were many remains that were not visible to see if it was one person. So this is what Grayson said from Gray Tech. Again, he is the owner of the forensic postmortem operations company. And he says that unqualified and inexperienced leaders made reckless decisions. They had the people that had experience picking up human remains, but they weren't using them. They were using trainees. They were using people who were not qualified and putting them in bags and commingling them together. This is how they handled the Lahaina fire victims. So how many remains did you and your team find? And these are the questions I sent to Grayson. He responded with them in an email and sent this to me. Last recovery was April 25th, 2024 was the last recovery. So they were still trying to find recovery victims, fire victims after that. And his totaling was 210 recoveries, totaling 210. That's what he picked up. Did you and your team find 210 recoveries? And the official count was 102 bodies, but he alone did 210, not alone, with his team. Search and recovery efforts for locating human remains was done through joint interagency efforts by FEMA USAR, task force, cadaver dogs, anthropologists, and several agencies, confirmation of discoveries and sifting screens for any remnants, USAF and our company supplemental staffing, support recovery transport. But 210 totaling, because I asked how many remains did you and your team find? Then I asked him, did you see any abnormalities? And he said, aside from various levels of thermos damage, some x-rays suggested injuries that may not have been related to a fire, blunt trauma, perhaps being hit by a car. I asked, did you find children? He did not respond. I asked, did you find charred bodies that were recognizable? He says, as human remains, question mark. So he didn't understand my question because I do have images in my book that of charred bodies. How many deceased did you personally handle? And he said, as of August 9th, 2023, personally, I did 20 transports of bodies, 26 x-rays were done with imaging. On August 9th, 2023, the team combined service total 84 transports. So that's already 104 transports between Lahaina. Oh, combined, that might be with him as well. Throughout the incident, I can say I've been involved with every deceased from either a transport, imagery, or tracking storage. Okay. I said, do you feel the official count is accurate? And he said the unofficial counts of recoveries by Maui Police Department have not matched my records. I hope the official count could, or count isn't. I don't understand that. I hope the official count isn't. I don't understand that. But I asked him, do you feel the official count is accurate? And he said the unofficial count doesn't match his records with the Maui Police Department. And then I asked him, did you handle anybody who drowned? He said one case was recovered from the sea with the assistance of the Coast Guard. I believe it's way more than that. There was so many people in the water, but I don't obviously have proof of that. I said, I know several people who signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and are afraid to speak, who say they picked up hundreds of deceased from water and land. Do you believe that's possible? He does not believe that's possible. This is again Gray Sun from Gray Tech, the forensic postmortem operations company. Maui Police Department has us finally responding to scene location beginning 8/11/2023 for discoveries of human remains. I also work closely with every funeral home on the island and hospital and registered with the DOH as coroner clerk for death reporting and case assignments. So then I asked him, I know they only counted people who were given both first and last names and were given by one of the person reporting. So both the deceased individual, the missing person, had to have a first and last name, and the person giving the information had to have a first and last name in order to be reported. And then I said, Lahaina had many undocumented people. Do you know how many deceased were unclaimed? He says, as of January 1, 2024, 17 unclaimed bodies were in the case of Maui Police Department. 17. April reported 7 fire-related deaths as unclaimed, mostly due to pending DNA sequencing for ID. And then June 7th, 2024, total bodies that I believe FA means some type of unclaimed were 17. I'm not sure what FF means, but 17. So we have 0 in our official count. 0 missing, 102 deaths. And according to him and his people, picked up 210. It's back here. 210 recoveries of bodies, not 102. So that right there is interesting. And then I wanted to go here. And let me make sure, I'm going to stop recording for a moment just to make sure that my voice sound is on. Okay, good. Yes, sound is on to let you guys hear this part.
And was there a rush to get this done? Should we have been rushing?
That's a good question.
It's an issue Maui Police Chief John Pelletier touched on in an interview conducted as part of the Attorney General's Maui wildfire investigation.
I think the next week we were concerned that there was going to be a storm coming in.
Meanwhile, the on-scene incident commander gave investigators another reason for the urgency.
As human remains started to be located, Public Works and Spectrum and the people that are responsible for trying to get the power back on, they weren't able to do their work unless the situation of the human remains was taken care of.
H&N Investigates provided Maui PD with questions for Chief Pelletier, asking him for clarity on the reasons for the apparent rush and whether his officers adhered to specific protocols. Those questions were never answered. We also gave the chief the opportunity to sit down with us for an on-camera interview. A department spokesperson replied, "Please refer to our preliminary after-action report, the Attorney General's report, and past official press conferences that provide comprehensive details addressing aspects of the recovery process."
So I just found that really interesting. Like the police department is still not, Pelletier is still not doing any interviews on this. So here we have an owner of a forensic postmortem operations company. They owe him $270,000. He's not talking about that. Then there's this contract that the media is not even talking about, Hawaii News Now, which I totally appreciate because they've been sharing this information. Thank you. What about this contract with this $900,000 award contract for the supposed sole source? It's supposed to be this guy's the only company that can do it on the state, but yet we have two companies, the Honolulu Medical Examiner and the Grayson Tech, that can do postmortems. Same exact stuff. So I don't understand why was Pan Pacific Pathology awarded a sole contract for $900,000 twice. So last year, 1 month before the fire, and this year as well. I'm not done. Almost there, you guys. Hold on. Stay with me a little bit longer. And I want to share this, follow the money, because I thought this was really interesting. Department of Defense. So why is Department of Defense recipient? This is a Maui wildfire award received by Hawaii State Departments. Why is the Department of Defense a recipient? And it said it awarded to FEMA, but it's Department of Defense, $2 billion. And check this out, Department of Homeland Security. Why is Department of Homeland Security getting, this is the federal agency, Federal Emergency Management Agency. Okay, that's understandable. Okay. And then we have Department of Labor and Industrial Relations, and they were given $12 million. Department of Labor, Employment, Training, and Admin. And I just wanted to show you guys this. I have no expertise in understanding why they would award these people this. I just find it very interesting. The Department of Defense is number one, $2 billion. Department of Homeland Security, number one. That's the federal agency, the first federal agency that was given this award, $2 billion. Interesting. I just find this interesting. Department of Labor and Industrial Relations, and this is awarded to Hawaii Lahaina Fire. Okay, Department of Labor. Okay, Fire Department. That's understandable. Crisis Counseling. That's understandable. $689,000. The Department of Health. The Maui County Wildfires. Department of Health. Okay, that's understandable. Department of Health and Human Services. And then Health Department. And then the last one, Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Homeland Security again, Federal Emergency Management. And this was $13 million. Initial funding is $5 million. Additional funding is $7 million. Awarded August 13th this year, 2024. Total award amount will be $25 million. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. $25 billion. $25 billion funding will be issued in 3 increments. So the Department of Homeland Security and Federal Emergency Management Agency, interesting, get $25 billion. It's right here. I find that very interesting, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. $25 billion. I think that's $25 billion. Nope, sorry, it's 25 million. There's a period right here. There's a dot. There's a decimal. So sorry, it's $25 million, not billion, to giving to the Department of Homeland Security. Why would they be getting that for a wildfire? I just find that interesting. So Grayson, he did do Great Tech, did do forensic postmortem operations, and that is who I got some of these answers from. But again, I just want to do one more. This is Pan Pacific Pathologist, LLC, $900,000. Just find that very, very interesting. They were awarded this contract 1 month before the fire. They were awarded it again for the same contract. I just find that really interesting. And why are they giving a sole source contract when other sources are available, including a source they already have a contract with which is Gray Tech. They already have a contract with Gray Tech. He can do this work as well, is my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong, and that's okay if I am, but that's my understanding. And I find that really interesting that we have a $900,000 contract, which nobody's talking about, for Pan Pacific Pathology to come in and look at why did people die and do autopsies. $900,000 with a this company had 1.7 stars, super bad reviews, and they already had a contract with Grayson. And again, I did call the Honolulu medical examiner and asked them, had the Maui Police Department contacted you and asked you guys to do this postmortem and autopsies, could you have done it? And she said possibly, because she did not want to go on record and say yes. And so I just wanted to put this out there. I just want to let you guys know, keep going, because the truth, you can't hide it. It's like the sunshine behind me. You cannot hide the sun forever. You cannot hide it. You can't hold water in your hands. It keeps going through. So what's going on in North Carolina with the death count, it's a bunch of BS, and everybody knows it. People know it. So keep sharing, keep posting what you know, and keep speaking the truth. Because this spiritual game, the spiritual war, the spiritual experience that we're having right now, we're moving toward the light, and all of those who do not value human life and do not value freedom on the planet are being removed. That's my belief. That's my hope for humanity. Let's do a quick prayer. Great Spirit, infinite intelligence of all things. I don't know the end game. I don't know what's going to happen. I just trust in you. I trust in each one, in my own kuleana, what's mine to do, in my journey. And I just follow my heart, Great Spirit. And I just know that those people out there who are following their own heart and sharing the truth are the heroes right now, Great Spirit. And I just ask that you touch the hearts of those who have not yet spoken up and who are inching forward and just hoping maybe they should speak up, maybe they should say something, because it will fester inside of their soul for not telling the truth of what they saw and what they experienced. And I just want anybody out there to know right now in this present moment that they are kept safe, because right now the light is shining on all light warriors who are speaking the truth. We are kept safe. We are guided. We are always protected. And Great Spirit, I just give so much gratitude to all the legions of angels and guides that are out there right now, supporting all light workers and supporting those who are inching forward to possibly knowing the truth, because it is scary to see the truth for what it really is. It very much is uncomfortable. And we just give them so much courage that they can also see what the heck is going on, Great Spirit. We trust in you that all is coming forth as it should be to bring about peace on the planet for all people, that our children, our keiki, can grow up in a place that is clean, with clean water, clean soil, clean air, in a place where they know that they matter and that they know that they are free. They are free because our freedom comes from you, Great Spirit. You gave it to us, not the government. You gave us freedom. And so it is. Sending you and your ohana so much aloha from the Big Island. A quick shout out to the sponsor. If you have any tax issues, if you want to buy Bitcoin tax-free, if you want to license your face, your biometric data, go to aceofcoins.com, aceofcoins.com. And shout out to the Voice of Kona Radio. Mahalo for having me on as 100.5 FM. And if you're listening on the islands, much aloha. I'm going to be doing an emotional integration practice, emotional integration healing classes, sessions starting on Friday. So if you want to join me, if you're stuck with different things in your life and you are tired of being tired of being afraid, and wanting some support, you can go to blossominnerwellness.com, Blossom Inner, INNER wellness.com, join the private membership, and then click on more programs and join my inner circle. So I'll be starting that this Friday. Okay, you guys, much aloha.